Hey guys, this is Jay Calderon with Jay Unboxing here giving you my personal predictions for a triple header World Championship card taking place on Saturday. But before getting into that, remember this is just my take. Your take can be left down in the comments and I'd love to hear it. First fight on the docket will be the main event, which is a mouth-watering fight. It's a junior bantamweight world title fight. This is, of course, taking place at the America Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas on Saturday. Going to be airing on DAZN, and this is between Juan Francisco Estrada and Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. A rematch that has been just about a decade in the making. Their first fight was very, very compelling and close. And it's an even more compelling matchup now as their roles have sort of reversed to some extent, where it seems like Estrada is the one coming into his own and Gonzalez may be the one that has some question marks about him. A little bit different, but still similar in those kinds of parallels. So it's an interesting fight to get into. Let's start breaking down here what I think both fighters will need in order to come out victorious in this fight. For Gonzalez to win, he needs to set up those uppercuts with left hooks. He is a great uppercut artist. It's a very underutilized punch in many respects, especially used in a way that's actually beneficial to the fighter throwing it. Oftentimes it's thrown at the wrong times, at the wrong angles, and a lot of times just from too far out, leaving you so vulnerable. Gonzalez has a very good one, and his best one is when he's actually throwing it after throwing that left hook, just as a kind of a half blinder and a shot to kind of line you up for that uppercut, which of course throws you off balance a little bit and makes you a lot less likely to counter him when he's throwing that uppercut. He also needs to be mindful of the right hands. That is a punch that Soren Bisai was able to hurt him with. That's a shot that Estrada landed in their first fight, and it's just a shot that he's been susceptible to for the majority of his career. For him to have success, he needs to be a little more mindful of it and try to put himself in the best positions really to avoid that shot. And his left hand being high and using angles can take a little bit of steam off of that shot as well. And finally, of course, he is a combination artist. He likes to throw punches and bunches, and that's great, but the combinations must be short and tight. Gonzalez loves to get going and throw punches in those bunches, but if there's a chance that the new weight favors Estrada just a bit more and Gonzalez has to kind of keep that in mind based on power differences or whatever it might be, it's not going to be great for him if he stays around long enough to exchange or if his shots are wide enough to be hit down the middle with those counter shots from Estrada. Now, for Estrada to win, I think the first thing that he needs to do, of course, is the opposite of what you'd want Gonzalez to do, which is that he needs to make sure he's ducking under that left hook to land that right hand. Estrada will want to throw the left hook, and it's in a Mexican's contract that he has to throw it a few times, at least every couple seconds. However, Gonzalez is usually quicker with his. Therefore, Estrada would benefit from ducking under that left hook and countering with the right hand over the top. And then when Gonzalez is expecting that shot, that's a good time to start working in those left hooks. He also needs to impose his strength and push him back. As mentioned, Estrada does seem to have acclimated better to 115 pounds, and while Gonzalez is still very solid, Estrada grew into the weight more comfortably. You can kind of get that sense. So that's great, but it only matters if he attempts to keep Roman on the back foot and use his size to bully the Nicaraguan. And while he is trying to pressure him, while he is trying to wear him down, he doesn't want to fall into the trap of exchanging body shots for head shots. Of course, you can wear down a pressure fighter, wear down any fighter if you're going to the body, but you don't want it to be at the expense of taking so many of those combinations up top. Throw the left hook, even throw a couple jabs to the body, but do it when it fits you, when it benefits you, then back away and just start putting that money in the bank, so to speak, and let it build as the fight progresses. Don't try to take it all out of him with one single shot to the liver every single time you throw the punch. Now, my pick here is, it's a tough fight. Ultimately it comes down to what you think matters most. Stylistically, I think Gonzalez has an edge over Estrada, and that could decide the fight. However, if you think Estrada has more left in the tank at only 30 at a lighter weight where age matters much more, then the Mexican's kind of your pick there. He's kind of coming into his own. And while I could completely be wrong on this, I'm inclined to go with Gonzalez via unanimous decision. Comfortable but close. Again, could be completely wrong on this one, and it wouldn't even really surprise me because Estrada really does seem to have taken to the weight once more, but I think Gonzalez has one more really good to great performance in him, and I think it'll be enough for him to hold off a charging Estrada who probably makes the fight look closer down the stretch, as he might have a little bit more left in the tank. And again, like I said, could be completely wrong on this, but I do have a sense that it will be Roman Gonzalez via unanimous decision. Now, also on the card, you have Cecilia Braekhus, who will be looking to avenge her only pro defeat, as well as become undisputed champion of the world at welterweight when she takes on titleist Jessica McCASKILL. And it's another very intriguing showdown and a difficult one to predict. There's some things here, of course, to keep in mind here. The first one is age versus fighting age. Fighters age differently than mere mortals because, fighting takes it out of you. And you can be younger in years but older in terms of miles on your body. A potential issue for Braekhus is that she's fighting a younger fighter, and the fight she probably has to fight to win is a young fighter's fight. She has to jab, 1-2s, move, slip and slide, step back, and just continue that over the course of 10 rounds. The problem is she's 3 years older, is almost 40, and has had 4 times the amount of fights as McCaskill has had as a professional. It leads you to believe that this could be an issue of whether or not she, of course, knows what to do. Can she actually do it? Another thing to keep in mind is that now that Braekhus knows how to lose, will it become easier for her? Or will she have a better chance figuring out her foe from the previous experience? Losing either makes you hungrier or kills your appetite, so you'll have to look for signs of that early on. And finally, can McCaskill deal with Cecilia if she tries to box and move and use her skills and experience? Probably not. So does McCaskill have the sort of vigor to do once again what she did in the first fight, which is make it more of a brawl than an actual fight? All of that said, I'm leaning towards Braekhus to pick up her gold again in the return with a measured performance. She'll be looking to land those 1-2s, take small steps back, and keep walking McCaskill into those shots. And on the inside, she'll look to hold much more en route to a unanimous decision. Finally on the card, we have junior flyweight world champion Hiroto Kyuguchi taking on AXEL ARAGON VEGA in what should be a showcase for Kyuguchi in my opinion. He's a heavy favorite, and I expect a stream of combinations to stop VEGA in the middle frames. So of course be on the lookout for those fights as well. Betting odds for the evening, Estrada is hovering around a minus 115 to 170 favorite. Depends on where you're going in terms of the books, but that's pretty high for a fight in which, Gonzalez won at the initial encounter and looked great in his last performance, but Gonzalez nonetheless is at a solid plus 140. So, of course, if you have, like an inclination to believe Gonzalez might win this fight, that's a decent line to pick up. But to be fair, if you can find the right odds, either is a solid bet, considering the odds are pretty close with most books. Braekhus is a betting favorite as well at a minus 175, with the champion coming in at a plus 125, that being McCaskill. It's a relatively decent option either way, and again, this could be one of those situations where if you think you have the women's fight as well as the main event figured out, it might be something that you might want to parlay in pretty much any combination, and you'll get some pretty solid odds for that either way. The bout I would suggest you stay away from is the Kyuguchi Vega bout. Kyuguchi is a massive favorite, and for a reason, and there's just really no value in that fight as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, up to this point, my record on the year is 4-2-1 with one exact prediction. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Love to hear your thoughts, predictions, bets, so on and so forth. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow. Follow me, of course, at jcalderon_JOB. You can email me at junboxing@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you there. Also, be sure to visit junboxing.com for schedule, betting odds, results, and rankings. And, of course, until next time.